All right. Hello, everyone. So I mentioned that I was going to make this video. I do have an actual written article coming up as well, but I thought, what better way to explain blockchain and cryptocurrency to you than to actually let you see my screen, show you a couple of things, and then I'm also going to actually touch on the game that I kind of teased at a little while ago called Axie Infinity. It's a game I've been playing for a little bit. I can't say that I've been playing it the way I used to play video games back when I was like really invested and competitive, but I mean, I'm still good at it, and this one has some actual return in in the sense of NFTs that I really like to cash in on. So I'll explain about it, show you a little bit of gameplay. It should be all fun, Tom. I know you find this game a lot of fun, so I'm sure other people will find it fun to watch me play it.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, it's like a more interactive version of Pokemon in which you actually have real world benefit coming back to you instead of just nothing coming back to you instead of like wasted time.
Yeah,
Um,
I know what you mean. And the Pokemon is a funny way to describe it because I think that's a really interesting and accurate way to describe it. But this is a little bit more than Pokemon because there's a little bit more of an in depth system. Either way, I'll get on that. So let's start with the overall question. What is cryptocurrency and what is blockchain? And, probably the burning question that's in everybody's mind is, should I be involved in it? If I am, to what degree? Is there financial return on it? And, what's the future of blockchain and cryptocurrency? Not just that, but like, how are they related? Because a lot of people, they hear Bitcoin and they think, oh, blockchain. Bitcoin is blockchain. The cryptocurrency is blockchain. And yes and no, there's a little bit of a difference. So I'll try and explain that. I've got a really good graphic here that I want to bring up to try and explain that. This one here is a descriptive graphic about kind of the process that cryptocurrency goes through using blockchain in order to actually become a verified peer-to-peer asset that is now worth, I think, last time I checked, it was somewhere around like 65 to $70,000. Let me check it really quick here. Yeah, 65,000 Canadian dollars. So I mean, there's seriously something to this. You probably can tell by how expensive they are. But what is it? So the best way to explain that is to start with explaining blockchain. Blockchain technology is it's an entire platform that is built off of a really complex peer maintained system where a lot of different nodes or computers, they're known as nodes, they are all holding a ledger of code that is extremely complex and constantly being updated and maintained individually but collectively by all of these different nodes. And there are thousands of, like, there are so many of them, and the computer language is so complex that, at least at this point in time, there is no feasible way to go about trying to interact with this and manipulate it, at least if it's already being maintained on a effective and positive blockchain. But that in and of itself is a really complex system. The technology is used in a lot of different applications. Actually, one of the first applications, besides Bitcoin, of course, was business applications. So there was a lot of talk about how this can be used in business to do a couple of different things. First off, create a really secure and impossible to try and alter business ledger or form of communicating information and holding on to different status of information among a peer network. So, blockchain in business has a lot of different applications. One of the most popular ones right now, and this is why I talk about this, I could spend all day going over all of the different business applications, and I might someday, but that's not what this episode's going to be. Is the application side of it, the development and programming language, Turing language that blockchain actually is. A specific form of blockchain I'm talking about is one that I am very familiar with and I speak very highly of, which is Ethereum. So Ethereum is kind of like a base platform that you can actually code on top of and utilize the decentralized aspect of the Ethereum blockchain to try and develop your own projects, which is fantastic, like absolutely incredible. The game I'm going to show you, Axie Infinity, is built off of that. So you're probably thinking in your head, oh, well, this is really complex. Like, how much could you flesh out an application that is being simultaneously maintained as far as its authenticity goes among all of these different nodes? I'll show you. It's actually really good. However, to get to the cryptocurrency side and refer to this descriptive graphic that I have here, imagine, and now one of the things that comes before this, by the way, that it doesn't mention is the fact of setting up a cryptocurrency wallet. Now, that can be a little complex. I might do a little bit more writing of that in the actual article that I'm putting together, but setting up a cryptocurrency wallet is pretty simple. The big part of it, though, is, and everyone talks about it, you probably heard the news, is make sure you hold on to your seed code. When you set up a cryptocurrency wallet, it is going to put you through an authenticating process that almost feels like you're creating an account on a website, because that's very similar to what it is. But you get to the point where you actually have to develop and generate this blockchain wallet on the blockchain platform that you are going to use to create the wallet. Some of the most popular ones out there are like, of course, the tradable ones like Coinbase. I'm sure everybody's heard of that. But there are other ones like Metamask. There's a bunch of different blockchain wallets. The one I like to use a lot is Metamask and Ronin. I use Ronin because it's associated with Axie, and I'll explain a little more on that. But I also have my own purchasable wallet, the one that I can actually use to buy in with my actual brokerage account, which is licensed in Canada. I have that account a little bit separate because I just like using that, and that's where I hold some of my actual Ethereum assets in comparison to my usable Ethereum that I have on my MetaMask wallet. So this speaks to the fact that you can have many wallets, right? So it's very similar to creating an account. It's just you want to make sure that when you create this wallet, you record all of the authenticating and verifying information. One of that is going to be a seed code. It's going to be a 12-word phrase, all numerically ordered, that you have to remember in the exact order, because that is going to be what you use to actually access your wallet when all else fails. It's kind of like, the questions you have where it's like, who is your childhood hero, or what school did you grow up, attending, or whatever it might be. But this is a little more complex because those answers are so easy to hack into, but a 12-bit seed phrase is a little bit harder to actually hack into. So this will make you feel more confident about the security of your crypto wallet, but inevitably that's the point that's missing in this graph. So I wanted to make sure that I touched that. If you guys have any questions about wallets and creating wallets, feel free to reach out to me. I can give you some advice on it. I use a couple of different ones, like I mentioned, as well as the licensed brokerage that I use in Canada. If you guys are actually interested, I'm happy to share that information with you, but just send me a message and we'll go from there. So getting back to this graphic, when somebody requests a transaction, and this is done quite literally as it's said, you request a transaction. That could be a invoice-esque transaction where you are requesting somebody to transfer cryptocurrency to you, or it could be the other, where you're making a purchase and you're making a request to send cryptocurrency to someone else. Now, this request gets put into the peer-to-peer network consisting of the computers known as nodes. I touched on those before, and I mentioned that these nodes all make up the peer network that authenticates the blockchain technology in general. So these are really, really important. And when this gets sent out, depending on which cryptocurrency you're using and what you're actually trying to do with your request of sending it, or reledging it in a different form of another wallet, there is usually a fee associated with it in some way, shape, or form, because the nodes actually have to validate, which is the next point here, the transaction and the user's status using the known algorithms. So what happens here is they all kind of process and authenticate the code of that transaction going from you and your wallet to someone else and their wallet. And that is then written into the blockchain code, the ledger, so to speak. And that ledger is going to be anonymous, of course, but it's going to be at the same time open because it's decentralized. So it will be recorded in the ledger and it can be accessed by anyone, but the anonymity factor comes from your blockchain wallet consisting of this super complex code. Now, you can get into renaming domains and stuff later on, but that's super complex. I'm not going to touch on that in this specific video. Again, another thing for another video. But going forward, once the transaction is actually verified, the cryptocurrency transaction, it creates a new block of data in the ledger. This is kind of what I was mentioning about all of the nodes having to actually recode and rewrite the ledger. And this is a really good infographic here for me to use. And this is why I like blockchain, is because imagine it like a block, and it's a bunch of building blocks to go together. And when you send that request for the total ledger to then add a new block that says this individual sent this amount of cryptocurrency to this individual, and it's open and it's being maintained by all of the different nodes on the network, that in and of itself is just such an authentic and such a decentralized way to reference that that asset is officially owned by a certain individual. So the reason why this is really complex, by the way, because you might be thinking in your head, well, just go in and change that block. It's not that simple. You're probably wondering why, this idea of creating a new block and verifying the transaction seems to be such an extensive system, as an extensive step. And why would it also include a fee, right? Like gas fees. Why would you ever have to pay for that? Well, it's a really, really complex series of computations. So what it does is it doesn't just add the new block. It verifies and authenticates the entire network as a whole, within certain reason, of course, and there's new applications, but it verifies everything and it puts it into part of an overall incredibly complex set of code. And if you wanted to change and rewrite that specific block to manipulate it in some way, you would have to rewrite all of the blocks that are associated with it. And that is just absolutely, like, especially at this point, maybe in the beginning a little bit more feasible, but at this point, that is so hard to try and comprehend with our certain technology, especially with the speed that this code is being continuously re-verified and rewritten and added on top of. By the time any computer, any form of technology we have right now could process that whole program communication there, it wouldn't work out. So that's one of the big reasons why the decentralized, non-manipulative aspect comes into play with blockchain. And that's also why cryptocurrency can be at the value it is because so long as we give it value and offer our fiat currency to obtain it, which is literally all that cryptocurrency is at this point, even though it's a little bit usable on a storefront, it's still just an exchange. It's just a trade between one individual and another. The fact that that has a limited supply and a specific level of authenticity that cannot be manipulated allows us to actually put these kinds of insane amount of money into it. Now, talking about cryptocurrency a little more, because we've got a couple more nodes here, is that, it has no intrinsic value. And that is true. That is changing because I know that we're getting a lot of storefronts and we're actually being able to physically manifest NFTs and all sorts of other contracts and, work orders through cryptocurrency and blockchain. So I believe that actually is changing a little bit. Ethereum is a really big movement of that because they've got their secure contract system, which is associated with all of their applications and actually very heavily associated with Axie Infinity. And that gives it a little bit more intrinsic value. But overall, it is literally just code. It is just information. So at the end of the day, where you could melt gold down and turn it into something, you really can't do that with cryptocurrency. It's just, we got to understand that when we're deciding to get involved in it. So another thing is that here, it has no physical form. I did kind of reference to that, but that is as much a positive as it is a negative. We're in this point where the psychology behind using currency with no physical form makes it easier to part with. I agree with that. I've experienced it. I don't think any of us could argue with that fact. But also the fact of, if you had a choice, say you're going out, you're going to have to make a purchase. In most cases, when you have a choice, you're going to just bring a credit card. Or if you have it set up, you're just going to use the NFC on your phone to pay for things because we just, as a society, are really shedding our weight and making ourselves a lot more self-sufficient with a single cell phone most of the time, actually, and maybe a set of keys, but even that's changing as we speak. And that is all why the no physical form can be referenced as a positive, not just a negative. So that's a big point to mention. And then here's another thing. Its supply is not determined by a central bank. Now, this is a positive and a negative thing in most people's minds. If the actual cryptocurrency is set up and coded right, to have a reasonable limitation to the actual potential circulating supply. So what that means is that as you generate and mine more cryptocurrency and bring it into the market, it just continues to lessen and lessen the amount you can get every year, and that is actually going to create a finite amount at the end of the road. Now, Bitcoin is getting to that point, and that's why it's really, really high, is because we're not having an insane amount of Bitcoin being added to the market. And what we do have in the market right now, it's worth a lot because the way Bitcoin has been coded is that the finite amount, like the limit to how much could feasibly be in the market, has it in this point where a single Bitcoin can have a lot of value in reference and in relation to its market cap, which is the overall value of all of the Bitcoin that exists in the world. So that might be a little hard to comprehend, but just think of it like diamonds. There's only so many diamonds in the world, or at least we're told that. So, I mean, I can't say there might be diamonds hanging out in a warehouse somewhere and, extra demand being forced on the world. I wouldn't really doubt people for doing that. But just so you can visualize the idea, there's a limited supply. Once it's out, we can't get any more. And that is why it can actually hold a growing sense of value for the long term, is because, it's the consumer market. As demand goes up, but supply does not go, or if anything, maybe it goes down, you're going to get significant increase in value. That's just how it works. It's the consumer market. It's business 101. I didn't have to take my MBA to learn that. We learned it all pretty quick. So I hope this explains a little bit about blockchain and how it's associated with cryptocurrency, because it's a complex system that can have a simple image and a simple concept to simplify it in the mind. Like for me, it's just currency. Everything that comes in between the peer-to-peer network, the verification of transactions, even the app building on top of it, that can all be related to things that we have in the modern day, which is very similar to just making a payment on a credit card and having it processed through the internet to be registered through your financial institution and then paid out to the receiving end. It's very similar. It's just that the system's a little more complex. But if you're not looking to be a miner, that barely even matters to you. Even if you are looking to be a miner, I'm pretty sure that the user interface these days makes it easy. So I hope that helps explain blockchain. Tom, I know you're here. What do you think? You think there's anything I could add on there? You have any questions that maybe the people who are watching would really enjoy hearing answers to?
Well, one of the things that kind of stood out to me when you were explaining how the blockchain is set up is that to put it in, like, as a layperson who's not involved in cryptocurrency, to put it in like everyday people terms, it sounds like the system is built around a structure in which counterfeiting becomes essentially an impossibility because the blockchain exists within all of these node points because it's one continuum. And so when you add something to it, you can't, unless you're like mining to create things, you're not making it. So I guess maybe expanding on that a little bit and how how exactly mining works, I guess. But with that said, that's probably its own video in and of itself because all of this is so complicated. As someone who's not involved in this, it's straightforward but complicated. There's so many things going on, it's hard to keep it all straight. But I think that what you've explained so far it's illuminated quite a bit in my mind how the structure of everything works. And moreover, why it has intrinsic value. Even though it has no intrinsic value, as you mentioned earlier, the fact that people are wanting to trade it gives it its value.
Yeah.
Right? And because it has this limited amount that can be mined every year, it gives it puts these boundaries on it that gives it value. And so at a certain point, when Bitcoin is no longer being able to be mined, it'll turn into a status thing where it's like, oh, I have a Bitcoin, right? And people will still pay money for it, even though there's no new money being generated within it.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And
no new cryptocurrency, rather.
Yeah, for sure. Well, at least on that one. And actually, you bring up a really good point that I want to address here because this might be another question in people's mind. And it was a question in mine. That's why I want to address it. Is you think about cryptocurrency as a whole, and you go, okay, well, what about everything else? Like, sure, Bitcoin makes sense. Ethereum is kind of more complex because it's more transactional and developer programmer focused. But what about all these other ones we hear about? Like, what about Dogecoin? I hear that all the time, by the way. Even some of the people I really respect always talk to me about Dogecoin. I'm like, look, I understand, but you got to know what a meme coin is, right? And this is one of the things I'm going to relate it to, which will probably make a lot of sense to anyone who knows what happened at this point. It's kind of like the .com bubble. when the internet started taking shape and there was a bunch of different websites and internet innovations and different copies of the internet, even to be honest, that tried to take shape and tried to replicate or just cash in on the value going forward. Now you have things like these meme coins, which exist and they are developed and they have market caps. And they look really appealing too, because when you look at it, it's like 0.00001 or 4, and you're like, oh man, what if that turned into 5 cents? That's such a small amount. Okay, yes, understandably so. And when you do the math in that way, it makes sense. What you really have to understand here is how market cap is associated with valuation per quantity. And that is that if you have a valuation per quantity that is 0.00001, that piece in relation to its market cap, which is, to be honest, probably 10 times more than Bitcoin's market cap at the end, is taken into consideration. What would need to happen for that single coin to get up to 5 cents is that its market value, the total value of all of the coin or all of the cryptocurrency, would have to reach a full valuation that is more than the entire cryptocurrency market put together. And just money can't keep up with it. So what you have to think about and why these meme coins are known as meme coins is because, first off, the way you buy it is not the traditional sense. You can't usually trade fiat for Dogecoin. You've got to trade fiat for a certain cryptocurrency and then go over to Uniswap or Binance and then trade that cryptocurrency for Doge, because there is nobody. Well, actually, I can't say there's nobody because I'm sure somebody's came up, but most places, most brokerages that will facilitate the transfer of fiat into crypto are not going to sell you Doge and sell you all these, like, I think there's another one that's being really trendy right now called SafeMoon. It's not going to sell you that. Funny enough, I was watching a video online of one of my really, really favorites online creators, which is CoffeeZilla. Fantastic guy. Not for everyone. He's a little intense, but I think he's great. He's always calling out fake gurus and stuff. As he talked to a cryptocurrency developer, and I think the cryptocurrency was called Scam. Now, this is hilarious. I can't remember what it stood for, but it was a 4-letter SCAM acronym. And because all cryptocurrencies are given an acronymized reference, his acronymized reference was Scam. So kind of hilarious how it worked out. But it was made as a joke, right? And it was given this really insane market cap and market volume because there was such a huge amount of it. I think in comparison to most of the cryptocurrency world, there was like 100 times more value. So what you can do is you can give this an initial valuation of practically nothing, which is literally just a choice, right? Like, they don't really have to reference initial valuation to anything. It's just that initial valuation, such as putting an item in the store, has to be something someone's going to pay. So what you do is you create this huge volume. You as a developer hold on to a lot of it. And then you go out and you give it this super, super slow valuation that to everybody they go, oh man, if this becomes 2 cents, I'm going to be a billionaire. But for it to become 2 cents, the market cap has to go up to an unreasonable amount. So I know that was a little more extensive than what you had asked for, but your question, Tom, really brought me to that. And I think that's an important thing for people to realize. So when you look at purchasing into any asset, you have to consider the store value of it. Is it possible to, in whatever amount of time you're choosing to cash out on this asset, is it going to be possible for you to sell that in some way, shape, or form, or transfer that to another individual for a currency that you can use in a store? Because if you can't, Bitcoin might be accepted in stores. Ethereum more than likely will be. It's already accepted in our online store. But it doesn't mean that Dogecoin and all these other ones are going to reach that level. So just consider that, especially if you're new in the cryptocurrency world. I would say don't get caught up in the altcoin hype, because it's just not worth it. If you want to get deep into it and you want to play the trading game and you want to cycle through some coins and diversify your, digital asset portfolio, all the power to you. You do what you want to do with your money, but just understand what you're doing. So look into it, understand the market cap, the circulating supply, if it's a limited supply or not. Some aren't. A lot of people wouldn't know that Binance is a non-centralized cryptocurrency, and it's because it's mostly a platform for trading, kind of like Uniswap. But again, that's a that's another episode. I don't want to get into that, but these are the things to consider going forward. So to wrap that up, because I don't want to spend too much time on that, and I want to give you guys a taste of Axie because I love Axie and I think it's going to be a lot of fun, is let me transition over and show you Axie Infinity. So I'm going to show you it in a couple different ways. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the platform. So this is the interface, so to speak. This is the main menu. This is where you got your Axies. Yes, they look adorable. Well, except for this little fellow over here. He looks scary. You would not want to give him your finger. That's my little Nemo. I love him to bits. He's super strong. Also really expensive. Almost $1,000 unit, by the way. But you have your Axies here, and you have a couple of options, Adventure and Arena. Those are pretty self-explanatory. This system has an Adventure mode and an Arena mode. But you, a new to cryptocurrency or new to Axie Infinity player, do not get to see this screen until you make an initial investment. Now, this is going to be changing. I've heard that the Sky Mavis team, who is the development team behind Axie Infinity, is actually creating a free-to-play introductory system that will give you free Axies to learn the game on, but they're not going to hold NFT value. So, if you want to come in, you want to play, you want to test the game out, I think they're even going to let you earn SLP, which is the currency within this that has a real value to transfer as well. They'll let you do that. But what you would have to see before you see this screen would be this screen. So this here is your dashboard. I don't mind sharing some of this with you because, none of this is going to allow you to go and steal my account. And some of you guys are saying, oh my God, Max, you only got 0.013 ETH, but I told you, this is my usable wallet. So I don't need to keep a lot of ETH in here because there's nothing I can do with it. Until Ronin comes out and I can use it, there's no point in having a lot of ETH in it. So what you'll see is you will see this system. Now, this system actually has to be associated with a cryptocurrency wallet. I had talked before that there is multiple wallets available. The ones I choose, which you can download as extensions and sign into. I use Metamask to associate with Axie, and then once they do the Ronin transfer, which I'm really looking forward to, I'm going to be using that primarily for my usable wallet. And in order to get cryptocurrency into these, you either have to purchase it through their system, which, I love Metamask, but I got to say they are a little pricey, or you've got to use a broker like I do and then transfer it over to this wallet. Pretty easy, but the process can be complex. Feel free to message me if you're curious. So MetaMask here is a wallet. It holds on to transactions, gives me records of transactions. So you can see here that I've made transactions for 0.1, 0.09. I've made this one for 0.29. That's a lot of money, by the way. All of these different transactions and more, right? It records it all. And this is that factor I was telling you. This is anonymous. People might be able to understand that these and see that these transactions were made by my wallet, but they don't know who I am based off my wallet information. They don't. They just can't figure it out. At least not yet. I can't say that that'll never be the case, but not at the moment. So once you have funds in there, you would come to this page and you would think, well, what do I do from here? Well, you got to get an inventory together. You've got to get at least 3 Axies because that's the minimum amount you need to play. Now, my Axies, I deserve a Grammy for the way that I've named these Axies. I think they're fantastic. Yeah, if you get a kick out of them, make sure you let me know in the comments. But you get Axies and you're probably thinking to yourself, what would I choose? Like, oh my God, how do I go about this? Well, I'll make it easy for you. And if you're interested, I can make a video or future videos focusing a little bit more on Axie. There are some pretty good content creators on YouTube right now, like Axie on the Moon. Another one that's really good that I like is, the actual Axie crew, like Z. These are really good guys who talk a lot about Axie and they're worth looking into. But if you want me to make videos and you want to see my face talking about it, I'll do that too. So you'll go to the marketplace, which is this little button up here, and it'll bring you to this page. Now, this is where things get a little complex. You can see here there are 13,419 Axies active in the marketplace. That means you got a lot of deciding to go through. You can see here, and this is talking to Tom, you mentioned Pokemon, really good reference. You've got different types, so you can go through the different types. Now, all of the types, just like Pokemon, have, what they're strong against, what they're weak against. So that is a huge learning curve to get into. The Sky Mavis team is fantastic at putting together a really, really descriptive white paper for you to go through. So if you are interested, I can leave in the comments a link to the white paper for Axie so you could see it. Really good. I think the Sky Mavis team have really outdone themselves with this project. It's incredible. And remember, all of this is built off of the Ethereum network, which is, kind of a programmer network. You can develop these applications on top of it. So every single bit of this is decentralized. You can probably see here, there's numbers associated with everything. Well, these numbers are associated with these Axie because they're NFTs. They are a currency, so to speak, right? Yeah, they're a little blockchain, and they are unique entirely. So, you know what? Let me just bring one up just for reference here. One of my favorites, as I mentioned, was my little aquatic guy. So I'm going to bring on aquatic. You can go through, you can change all sorts of stuff. Like you want a fully grown one, egg, what kind of breed count it has. Yes, you breed these things. Again, this is super complex. I'm not going to go into deep detail with this, but you can choose all of these different options. Pick one that you like, go into the stats, make sure that it's what you want it to be. And then from there, you can click on one. And I'm actually just going to go highest first so you can see what kind of the high ones are going for. Here we go. Look at this one. 25 ETH for this one. Now, this guy is drunk. I got to say, he's never going to get 25 ETH for this. That's 61,000 American dollars. But hey, some people do what they got to do, right? He's not even a mystic. So you click on this thing and it's going to give you, it's low ID. That's why they wanted it. It's only 42,000. Current Axie IDs are somewhere around 250 to 300,000. So this is actually a thing. These IDs tell you at what point on the blockchain this Axie's NFT was created. And if you go through and you see some of the origin Axies that were like the first ones created are worth a ridiculous amount of money. I think the most expensive Axie that sold was like 300 Ethereum, which look at the stock market. Let me just bring it up really quick here just to show you. Here we go. 300 Ethereum would be something around, Ethereum's currently at 3,057. You could do the math. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But anyway, let's go back to this here. So you go through here, choose the ones you want, get 3 of these. If you guys want to see me do a more extensive video on actual Axie choosing, I'll do it. But for now, I want to show you some gameplay because that's what we all came here for, right? You can skip ahead if you want to come just see the gameplay. Maybe you only came for the Axie gameplay. And if you don't want to see this, it's a pleasure having you. So I'm going to jump into this right away. I'm going to do an arena match. Now, I am a little bit high up in the leaderboard. I think right now I'm like 1,800 of 30,000 players, which is pretty good. First place is like 2,900. And for the season end, I think they were somewhere around 25 to 26. So I'm pretty high up. There's a chance I might get smacked. But you know what? Let's do this. Are you excited, Tom?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is a good team. This team is actually quite similar to mine. So for anybody who's played Slay the Spire or Monster Train, this might look familiar. Yes, it plays similar. It's kind of a roguelite. It's a card player game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these cards. Now, these, again, they're not going to make sense to you unless you know what I'm doing, which I highly doubt you will, but let me explain a little bit. Each one of these cards, just like you see here, actually has a sense of ability, tactility, and damage and health that's associated, or damage and shield that's associated with it. So you can see here, 105 damage, 30 shield, but if you combo it with another Nutcracker card, yes, the Nut cards are hilarious, it does extra damage. So that's a really big thing to take into consideration here, is you've got to try and be tactical about the way that you play this. Now I'm going to murder this guy because I have a beast, and Tom, you've seen my beast go. He's adorable, but he's deadly. Do not mess with my boy. Oh no, he used Cattail. Oh no, he didn't use Cattail. Oh no, he did. He's drawing cards. It's okay. I'm not too worried about that. So I killed his frontliner, move into the backliner. My plant is critting every single time. And I find it kind of ridiculous, actually. I'm not going to lie. Usually he doesn't crit that much. But anyway, he's got a lot of cards and he's got a lot of energy. Energy is what you use to play cards down in the bottom left here. He's probably going to go all in on me. This guy might end up dying. There's a possibility. But I'm going to play this the way that I play this. So I'm just going to use this to get energy. Yeah, his beast is going in. I had a feeling. Perfectly fine, though. It is what it is. Yeah, he gave me the poke. I did gain some energy from it. Now what I got to do is something really, really strategic here. He's going to go all in on me, on this little dude right here. So I've got to try and build up my defense. I want to use as many cards that give me defense as possible. So I'm actually going to go about starting with an energy gaining card, moving into this defense card, and then putting a little bit more defense down because I want to make sure that this guy doesn't die. So I probably won't kill him. I just want to make sure that I don't die. So you know what? Let's do this. 2 energies. This and this. 120 shield. Puts me in a pretty good position. I do some damage. Get a lot of energy. I'm happy with this. Yeah, he's going all in on me. I already knew he was going to do that. He wants to beat my ass. This reptile actually does extra damage against my water type. So I want to be careful about how I'm using it. Look at this. All this damage he's putting out. He's doing extra damage to me. He's not going to kill me, which is great. He is going to suck my blood. Self-healed a little bit. And then he's
I thought he looked like a mosquito.
He kind of is a mosquito, isn't he? So I've got damage up right now. This is a big thing. I want to utilize this. So I'm going to use a high damage ability because that's what this little shield gives me. And then I'm actually going to try and bamboozle him a little bit. And I'm going to see if I could probably not kill him, but be able to keep this guy alive. So I'm going to use that damage. I'm going to use this shipwreck. And I'm going to use this as well. And now on top of that, because that's a lot of damage, I want to guarantee this guy dies. I'm going to use these nuts. This guy will probably stay alive, but I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, he's trying to go all in. I had a feeling. So he's going to all in my water here. Oof. The self-heal. The hit. Oh, is he going to do it? Oh, but I'm in last stand. Oh, that was really well played on his part, actually. Yeah, he's gaining a lot of energy. It's going to be hard for me to beat that beast afterward, but I think I can do it because I'm going to kill him. Great. Now it's me versus this beast. It's a 4 energy beast. I really don't think I'm going to kill him, but you know what? The hell with it. Let's see what we can do here. Yeah, 4 energy. I had a feeling. It's so hard for me to try and beat him when he has so much energy. Oh, maybe? If I crit here, no, I don't think I'm going to crit. Not going to happen. Oof. Oh, I did crit and I almost killed him. Okay, that was really close. That was really, really close. Kind of unfortunate. He's got a beast that gives him a lot of energy, so he was just full on energy the whole game. But that's kind of how it works. So what you probably saw there was you saw a very simplified kind of roguelike Slay the Spire mixed with Pokemon kind of gameplay. There are a lot of elements to it. And there are a lot of different stats that are associated with the Axies. Like if we go in, this Axie has a 31 tier health, 41 tier speed, 31 tier skill, and 61 tier morale. These numbers don't make a lot of sense to you guys. But essentially, your numbers can be anywhere from like the mid-20s all the way up to 60. So this guy has maximum morale that makes him a little bit more useful. Morale and skill and speed and health. Health is pretty self-explanatory, same with speed. But skill and morale, they affect different attributes like critical strike, ability to get extra damage from comboing your skill cards together, things like that. So all of these Axies have really finite values to them, or finite stats to them that you have to work within. And that's why the breeding system in this is so unique. Okay, let's see if I can win one here. I want to win one for you guys. So everybody can be all excited. Ooh, a water in the back. This is one of my worst matchups here. And another Rimp. Everybody likes their little Rimps. So this guy's got Serious Prickly Trap. This does a lot of damage. This gives him a shield. That gives him energy. I think what I'm going to do, just in case this guy goes off on me, I'm going to use a big shield. And then I'm going to use this card, which doesn't do a whole lot, but it gives me energy. So what it'll kind of do is I defend my plant, who's my tank, and then I get a way to kind of recuperate the energy I use so that there really is no loss. And if they don't attack me and they don't take any energy, then oh, that's fine. I don't lose anything, right? And it looks like this plant was going to do it. Based on his energy there, I bet you it's a Sirius, which is going to steal my energy, and a carrot. What'd I tell you? Sirius and a carrot. I can just base it off of the shield sometimes. So he took one of my energies. He hit me with a carrot. Didn't break my shield. Nothing went down. Actually, to be honest, it's a really good outcome on things. Now, I've got a bunch of cards on my beast. Beasts do extra damage to plants. They're really good at killing frontliners. So I'm going to go all in on this guy. Like, I'm going to hit him with everything, really. I might as well. One thing I'll probably do just to keep from having to waste too many cards on here is I might actually use my Nemo, which I think will work pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to use Nemo and Shipwreck here, because then that's going to give me one back, and it's going to do some damage. So let's see. I think this could work. Actually, no. I'm going to go all in. Let's make sure this guy dies. Oh, looks like I didn't have to do that, actually. It's perfectly fine. I want to guarantee that this guy dies. Yeah, he went into last stand anyway, so it's a good thing I did this. All right, and now we're in a position where I seem to be really up, but he didn't use any abilities last turn, so he actually has a lot of energy that I have to be careful of. He's probably going to go all out with this guy and maybe even this guy, so I think the best thing for me to do is just play this safe and try and shield up. Or I could steal some energy here. What do I do? You know what? I think I might throw this on for sure. And he might go all in on me kind of like I did. So let's... Yeah, let's do this. Nah, he's going all in for sure. He wants to make sure I die. Oh, yeah. The nuts. And then the poke. Yeah, he killed me. That's okay, though. I did gain some energy. That's a really good position. I can kill this guy. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm actually going to hit him with... I'm going to use this. This. So I have a big shield, which makes me a little bit more invulnerable to his backliner. What he might do is he might not actually play anything, which would be smart on his point. Or he might go all in on this guy and try and kill him. Either way, I'm going to do a bunch of damage to him. I'll probably kill him. So that's a really good position for me to be in because this is 260 plus the bonus damage plus 90. Oh yeah, he's going to die. So let's just go all in on him. Yeah, he's not doing anything. I think that's smart because he's trying to save his energy. He doesn't want to just waste energy and not kill me. Oh, that's really unfortunate for me. I didn't think I was going to crit him like that. It is what it is. Okay, here we go. He's going to go all in. So I'm thinking I'm more than likely... He's probably going to use 4 cards. I don't know how much energy he has. I think he has a decent amount. So I think the best thing I can do is probably just skip and hope that I'll be able to get a full combo in and kill him next turn, which I may.
Now, would you not want to use your tail swipe move because it gives you
The only reason is he goes first, so he might just kill this guy outright. You know what? Let's go for it. He's going to hit me all in. I had a feeling. Did the damage. Did the damage. Oh, so close. Oh, I'm still alive. Holy, that was a really clutch play for me. I'm going to do all this extra damage to him. And I got the extra health, so I'll probably be able to all in him with this guy now. Okay, that was really, really clutch for me. Actually, if that didn't turn out that way, that could have been really, really bad. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to use the nuts here, the double nuts, and the Ronin. Try and finish it off.
The question always ends up being, to nut or not to nut?
Yeah, to nut or not to nut. That is the question. And for anybody who doesn't get the insider joke on that, that's my little dude's name. To nut or not to nut. There we go. The crit. I win here. We can do whatever. He's not going to kill me in one go. He surrendered. He knew he was done. There's the victory. All right. See, I didn't get boosted up to this elo, I swear. I can fight and play. It's just got to go right. That's how really particular this game can be. And you notice it's kind of a mind game too, where you've got to associate your energy usage to your available cards. You got to try and anticipate what your opponent's going to do. And that's why, oh, by the way, SLP, I get a lot of it. But that's kind of what makes this game a little more complex. There is a competitive side to it, and there's some really good players. So once you get up to the high ranks, you're going to have a hard time. I'm at about 1,800. That's not bad. I would say that this is really good. I've been in the top 2,000 for, good majority of the last month, I think, Tom. So I even broke down to the top 800 for a little bit, which was quite intense. And then I started facing some of the top tier players, so that changed. Because we're on this page, I think it's a great time for me to talk about this SLP, Small Love Potion. This is the currency of Axie Infinity. These little things here are actually NFTs, and they have a value on the market. You can go, and I believe if we were to go to Crypto Gecko... CoinGecko, sorry. Don't mind me. and you were to actually search up SLP, Small Love Potion, they have a valuation. Oh, it's actually up right now, 4 cents. So 4 cents here. Doesn't sound like a whole lot. And it's because you get these in large bulk, right? Like what I just got from this specific win here was 40 cents American worth of SLP. Now, you could probably imagine that you go through a lot of these on a regular basis, right? So you're actually going to be gaining a lot of SLP. To give you an idea, I think right now over the last couple months I've played, what do I got? I've got 4,590. So that's not bad. If you were to do the math there, it's probably about 350 American dollars. And this, I wouldn't transfer it directly. This is actually used to breed Axies. So that's a really complex thing. Again, I don't want to get too far into it, but you're probably wondering, where do Axies come from? Well, they're bred among one another, and they share traits, and it's a really complex and interesting system.
Well, when one blockchain cube falls in love with another blockchain cube, they get together.
They do. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up there a little bit because I don't want to just spend all night. If you guys want to see me doing regular Axie Infinity content, or maybe I've got to do this every single day anyway. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour of my time every day, and I commit to it because I see serious value in this. To give you a number,
it has real world return.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, to give you an idea, I've invested probably somewhere around about 1 Ethereum into this game, and my portfolio at the moment, with everything included, is worth almost 2 Ethereum. And I haven't even bred anything. I'm waiting for the Ronin system to come out, and then I'm going to start breeding a bunch of stuff and using some of my Ethereum, and that adds on to my Ethereum that I have in my actual brokerage account, right? So I've got a decent amount of leverage.
And the reason you're doing that, to reiterate, is because when the Ronin system comes into play, the gas fees are going to be less. And so when that happens, the profit you'll make off of breeding your Axies will go up.
Yes. You've been listening, Tom. You know, I talk to you about this all the time, so you already picked that one up. Gas fees are a big thing, and that's anybody who uses Ethereum in any way, how just gutting gas fees are to everything on the Ethereum chain. There is ETH 2.0 that's actually being released. The rollout's already in place. You probably saw me talk about it in the cryptocurrency post, but improvements are coming. So I've got really high hopes. I think that, this is kind of the future of at least a certain type of gaming. And though I don't really game a whole lot anymore, I see value in this from an asset potential, and I also wanted to play with it. Like, I don't have my total portfolio wrapped up in this game, and neither should anyone. I know some people are all in on this game, and I just don't agree with it as a business professional. So if you have the disposable income or usable investable income and you're comfortable with doing something like this, then by all means, jump on board. If you're not in that position and you're thinking, this is your big break into, acquiring the wealth you always wanted, take that money, invest it in yourself, and, invest it into projects and business ideas that you can be in control of. Don't put your money that you need, that is going to be a vital part of your near future, into investments. That's just logic that I think everybody should use. But for everyone else who's interested and wants to check it out, I hope that this was informative from a cryptocurrency standpoint, as well as, touching on an Axie Infinity. I hope you guys found it interesting. I know some of my gaming friends will love this. Either that or you'll hate it. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed it. Tom, thanks for joining along. I know that I was spending most of the time talking, but I'm the crypto guy here, so I didn't expect it, but it's always nice to have you around. And that crypto and blockchain is going to be a big part of Project Arcana in general, so you're very much a part of this as well.
Oh, definitely. Well, and you know what? Like, I have a feeling if it was about magic and religion, I'd be the one that would be talking for hours at a time while you just listen and chime in every once in a while. And the thing is I enjoy it because I'm learning a lot too, because I remember back in high school when Bitcoin first started to be talked about, because it was this new technology that had come out. And I remember thinking, I don't understand it. And over the years, I've been thinking, damn, if I had invested then, I could, if I had taken the effort to learn, my life would be so different right now. And so every moment and chance that I can get to learn a little bit more about crypto, Tom 10 years from now is looking back and going, good on you, mate.
And that's a really good point to mention to everyone else. Whether or not you want to, put a bunch of money into this and invest a lot of time into this, it's worth knowing. So, use your resources. I'm a resource. I don't mind putting this kind of content out. I know I'm busy and I might be hard to actually get in touch with on a message side of things. I always get back to you, don't worry, even if it's taken me a while, but I'm here to help. I'm here to put out this kind of content, help give you some instructions, some guidance, be an asset of knowledge because I've been working with it and I have experience with it. And there's a lot of other people too. You can look around online. We have Google at our fingertips. It allows you to Google anything and research it, bounce what you've researched off of people who you trust and you value their opinion, who are, thought leaders just in your life, not just in the industry, and, come to your own conclusion on it. I hope that what I had to say was informative. And if there's anything else you guys want to know, or you have any suggestions, feedback, leave it in the comments, send me a message. And other than that, quick little teaser, because I know this is going to come before the big reveal. We got a really big announcement coming this week, so keep your eyes peeled. Should be set to come out on Friday. You guys are going to love it. Everyone who's already seen or heard about it, love you guys' feedback. We're putting together a really good system here. Keep your eyes open. Big updates coming for Friday. Thanks again, guys, and I hope you enjoyed. Till next time.